On this episode of Lapeef, Let's Talk.
Wait.
Oh,
You know what else
say
is?
that.
You know what the interesting thing about this whole thing
that
is?
at all.
Anybody. How y'all gonna make a wrong right now?
Nobody should hear
That's not making no sense.
I think
You know
that Courtney.
Hold on, wait.
Okay, go ahead, Anton.
The interesting thing about it is that they will spend 99.9% of their time trying to get you to figure out how to be more reactive instead of solving the problem, which is you should not put your hands on a man.
That was the first thing everyone said.
You don't even get into this situation if y'all need to spend more time having conversations with women and saying, hey, you're not equal to a man, you're not as strong as a man, keep your hands off of him, and you won't find yourself in a position where he got to try to restrain you. We're not even having this conversation.
What is? Oh my God! He's 1,000% right. Okay, we got a guest on. We got a guest. We got a guest on. We can do this after hours. We can do this after hours.
I do think that as children, there are certain things that are propagated or pushed as it relates to boys versus girls. Like, oh, that's a girl, don't do this or don't do that. But in terms, oh my goodness, my voice. But in terms of men,
thank you, Jesus.
In terms of grown men, I don't have enough information to say that, because some men maybe don't know how to even treat a woman. Some don't know how to protect themselves. Some do know how to protect themselves and avoid certain situations. Like, there's some men who will not go to that hotel room with that woman and he's this famous man. There's some who won't do that. There's some that will. I mean, there's so much variation, so I don't have enough information to answer that properly.
Okay. Lauren,
wait, can I ask a question, Kay?
Oh Jesus, Chicago, why are you doing this to us? Go ahead.
No, I mean serious. Do you think the men in your family were taught how to treat women?
Yes.
Okay, they were. Were they taught how to protect themselves from women?
Yes.
In what way?
Just not even getting into certain situations, especially as Black men, knowing certain things that could happen, things like that. Do you think it's okay if you as a man were not hurt? And I would never do it, so I'm not trying to advocate for people hitting, but I'm just saying hypothetically, if a woman that was small hit you, do you think you should hit her back even though you weren't hurt?
I absolutely think I should have the right to hit that lady back. No,
even if you weren't hurt?
Absolutely. It
Why?
cannot be the case that some 5'3" woman gets to run around and hit every 6-foot man. Like, what world are you living in? Just because you can't hurt, wait. Just because a woman is 5'3" and can't hurt a man over 6 foot means that she just gets to walk around and hit every single man willy-nilly?
No.
Well, there you go.
So okay. So are you saying that it's men's duty to
Jesus Christ? Who said the word duty? Are you? Come on, Kay. Listen, Kay. I'm starting to see what people are talking about. No one said the word duty, but you. Like, you're putting words in my mouth. I said what I said.
I'm asking you. Do you?
Well, don't know. Well, if you ask me, then, but don't put words in my mouth when you ask me.
I said, do you think that it's a man's duty to put like a smaller woman in her place if she tries to hit him?
No,
it's her duty to keep her hands to herself.
Hold on, wait, because I don't want Kay to misunderstand what the lead was saying. Kay, the way you started with the question, you said, "Are you saying that it's a man's duty?"
Exactly, Rilla.
So that's a different question. That's why he was saying, "Don't put words in my mouth."
Thank you, Rilla.
That's a different way of asking. So you're saying,
like, Rilla and I are actually listening to the words that are coming out of your mouth, even if you're not listening to them. Like, I get very offended when people put words in my mouth because I choose my words. I choose my words precisely.
I feel you. I wasn't trying to put words in your mouth. I was saying, what do you think about that?
A man should have the duty to make sure that he is protected at all times, and should allow no one to just walk around willy-nilly hitting him, whether or not he feels subjectively or objectively that person can or cannot hurt him.
Hey, Lead, I have a question.
So,
I have a question. So let's just take the dynamics of you and Kay. And Kay's 5'3", you're 6'3", a whole foot, and she hits you. What? And you're like, well, you hit me, I should be able to hit you back. What about an alternative? And I'm just asking of a restraint, since you're bigger, and grabbing her app and calling the police and saying she's right now hitting me. Come here and arrest her for assault, and having it legally on the books that she hits men.
Yeah.
First of all, well, I'll take your second point first. First of all, no one cares that women hit men. When you say legally on the books that she hits men, no one cares. She's not going to get punished for that. So that's not a deterrent at all. Second of all, if I restrain her, if I grab her wrist, there's going to be a mark. So guess what? We're both going to jail.
Oh, you're
right?
super strong.
I am protecting myself, restraining her, doing what you say I should do. And then when the cops show up and see my fingerprints on her wrist, we're both going.
But
and that's the best
side.
case scenario, because
So
what
then
she
what
could
should you do?
But hold on, Kay, let him finish. Go ahead, Lead.
What I'm saying is your solution is the best case scenario. What
Okay.
happens a lot of times is I could restrain her. The cops show up. They see bruises on her wrist, but they don't see any bruises on me. So now she's free and I'm going to jail.
Right.
And these same cops have probably been raised, especially down here in Georgia, under the assumption that men don't hit women regardless.
Yeah.
That's why it's all messed up on all different levels.
Well, let me ask you this, because you're restraining, you're talking about holding the wrist. Restraining could be a bear hug and telling her, you know what I'm saying?
Are
but
you serious?
Why you guys breaking down?
Y'all gotta let me finish.
The
Y'all
bear hug
not
thing threw me off.
Not let me talk. That was just
But the man is going to protect. They're going to protect themselves. If the woman out of control, they're going to protect themselves. In the story.
Okay, please stop and let me talk.
All right, talk to me about the bear hug.
Okay, so I'm not even. That's just an idea.
No. Listen, you got mad because I cut you off at the bear hug. So fine, finish your point about the bear hug. I'm sorry I cut you off at the bear hug.
I'm trying to finish a sentence. So even with that, but if you hit her, being that you're a foot taller, you don't think that's going to be an imprint more than trying to constrain her, than fight her? And if she doesn't get anything on her, well, no, you don't get anything on her because she's not strong enough to do any kind of bruise on you, but you're able to bruise her when you fight her, and the police come, who getting arrested? The police, when they come, they're looking at who is more messed up.
There's no telling.
There's
no telling what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Situational.
No, it's not. When the police come, they examine the woman, they examine the man, and they see who is more battered.
Okay, what's your point that you're trying to make?
I'll tell you my point. My point is you. When Lee said, well, I'll get arrested because of me restraining her and holding her hands. My thing is, you're going to get more arrested if you're fighting her and she has a black eye.
Courtney, there's no such thing as more arrested. That's like being more pregnant. You can't be more pregnant. Either you're pregnant or you're not. Courtney, come on. You're taking these long soliloquies. You don't want people to cut you off.
I'm giving legit
even JR was like, I don't understand what you're saying. No one's you're saying more arrested.
Courtney,
are you making any sense?
I'm giving.
There's no such thing as more arrested for a man.
Excuse that I said that, lead attorney. Okay, that was a misspoke. Okay, so
you're
excuse
the one
me for
saying that words matter.
Okay, and I'm saying excuse me for saying that.
Well, that's why I cut you off.
Okay, let me explain what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying is that we're talking about now arrest and who's going to get fingerprints or restraining her.
It's not an investigation right now.
And calling the police will have, I think, more of an effect than you fighting her, and you're bigger than her and making more bruises on her. And when the police come, they're going to look at you and her and see who's more battered.
You want to know what this reminds
me of? And they're going to arrest the person that has the least bruises on them.
This reminds me of a conversation I had with my son.
Yeah.
He just missing. He want to bring up everything else, but what we talking about in order to try to be right.
What are you talking about,
You know
Derek?
what
you talking about right now? I know exactly.
I think y'all missing it.
Yeah.
I think
You know what the interesting thing is about this whole thing, JR, is that the whole thing just goes in
y'all are missing it, and you trying to, and Kay trying to defend Courtney. Y'all both missing
No one
it.
is defending
Y'all, she trying to pick you up.
Listen,
both of y'all are missing it.
Ladies,
both of y'all missing it.
Ladies,
under no circumstance should a woman just think she gonna hit a man.
That's exactly it.
If they hit the man, it's gonna be up to that individual man whether he responds or not.
Nobody should.
You can't be mad at him in the story. You be like, what's going on? You be like, what's going on?
You know what? You know what else is? You know what the
Hold up,
interesting thing about this whole thing?
How y'all gonna make a wrong right now?
Nobody should hear
That's not making no sense.
I think
You know what
that Courtney.
Hold on, wait.
Okay, go ahead, Anton.
The interesting thing about it is that they will spend 99.9% of their time trying to get you to figure out how to be more reactive instead of solving the problem, which is you should not put your hands on a man.
That was the first thing everyone said.
You don't even get into this situation if y'all need to spend more time having conversations with women and saying, hey, you're not equal to a man, you're not as strong as a man, keep your hands off of him, and you won't find yourself in a position where he got to try to restrain you. We're not even having this conversation.
What is? Oh my God! He's 1,000% right. Okay, we got a guest on. We got a guest. We got a guest on. We can do this after hours. We can do this after hours.